Hi.
Hi, good morning, Mr. Parker.
Good morning, Mr. Banner.
Thank you coming in early to see me.
Thank you too. You too.
I hope you don't mind. I have already ordered a coffee for you.
Wow. Thank you. It's very kind of you.
You're welcome, and please call me Bruce.
Yeah. Bruce.
Uh, if I recall correctly, when we spoke on the phone earlier in the week, you said you are the single owner of YO Pharmacy. Is that correct?
Yes, I am.
And you are responsible for all purchasing decision, or is there anyone else who should be involved in this meeting?
I have all decision-making authority, although before I sign anything, I would need to be sure that at least my full-time pharmacy are on board.
Yeah, understandable. Besides the support of your pharmacist, what other criteria are important to you when making a decision like that, like this?
I need to know that I'm purchasing something that would be help the bottom line of my business.
And what is that exactly?
Put simply, I need to realize an increase in profit.
And is more profit your only other criteria?
Well, it had to have enough feature I actually use. It wouldn't make such a large purchase to only use fraction of what I paid for. And from the primary number we discussed on the phone, you are really going to convince me it's worth the price.
That's all fair. While past experience tell me you are going to like our service, I would never want to make a sale until I'm sure Radian is the best option to meet your needs. Is it alright if I ask you a few questions to help me better understand your position?
Go ahead.
From our previous conversation on the phone, you mentioned that YO is not currently using any pharmaceutical specific programs to keep track of inventory or manage pricing, and everything is still done manually. Is that true?
Yes, we are small family-owned business and very little has changed over the year in regarding to the way we keep track of sale and inventory. Even the time we use computer and scanner, we are still dependent on manually inputting all our data.
How often would you say that is data that needs to be updated?
Probably every day. Not that we get always a chance to make the update that frequently.
So how often do you or one of your employees make these updates?
Well, actually, when I need to, for example, on Sunday, I check through the newspaper to find competitors' advertisement, and then if I need to make any change, I will do so when I come to my shop on Monday.
And do you find that you are generally over or underpriced?
Well, we are often overpriced, but I have to make adjustment call on whether or not we can afford to make the price cut. So the time I actually make the change in the system is often to increase the price when I learn of the distributor raising my price.
Is sorrow you suffer from lax time between the price changing and learning of it where you are selling a prescription for less than average. Is that an accurate conclusion?
Unfortunately, yes, that does happen.
On average, how much do you lose per prescription that's underpriced?
Usually, when the price increases, it's by 1 or 2%. So it would be $2 to $10.
And in a year, how many prescriptions do you think get caught in this lag time?
In a year, I probably sell at least 3,000 at the lower cost.
Now, from the number you have just told me, at the very least, you are losing $6,000 every year simply by not updating price frequently.
Interesting. I guess what a sale volume is over $45,000. I never realized through of this lost sale dollar at having an impact.
When do you finally get the corrected figures or make the judgment call to lower a price? How long does it take you to do on an average day?
Like I said, someday I might not do any day change or do only a few minor one, but on average I would say 5 or 6 hours in all.
And how long is a typical work day for you?
I'm usually in the shop around 9 hours.
So you are spending over of one work day just manually checking and changing price. Not to mention you said you do some of the price checking on Sunday, which you mentioned was your day off. Wouldn't it be nice to use that time for more important tasks or even just some relaxation?
I never thought of it like that, but you are right. I'm so busy trying to keep the company effort that I hardly have time to see my family and friends.
There is no price to measure how valuable time with family and friends is, right?
Oh, that's true.
So do you find your pharmacists have time to interact with customers?
It does seem like the pharmacy are so busy behind the scene. They really want only have time to say a brief hello to
By
customer.
by not taking the time to convert with customer, what do you think that's doing to business?
I can't say for sure, but I know it isn't helping. The the large chain pharmacy rarely take the time to answer customer questions about their medication, no less getting to know them on a personal level. If the neighborhood doesn't at least see us as the best place to go when you want to answer to your question, then we have lost one of our key differential in an increasingly competitive market.
So it would be important to you for your pharmacists to free up time in their days so that they could get to know their customer, right?
Yeah, that would be great.
I think we have some terrific products that you will be interested in. But for now, if you don't mind my asking, how do you keep track of inventory levels and know when to reorder?
We have a logbook that each pharmacy is required to fill out before they can take out a prescription.
Then how do you know when you are running low on any medication?
Uh, at the end of the day, they tally each log and calculate the remaining inventory for each medication. On the top of each med log, I create a reorder level, and when the pharmacist reach that point, they fill out a reorder form for me to process.
And how much of that time is spent on those tasks?
It probably take time about 30 minutes at the end of each day to go through and add everything up.
And how much that is cost you per pharmacist?
With benefit and salary, I'm paying upward of $120,000 per pharmacy.
That means that in a week they are spending 2.5 hours on each, which in a year is around 120 hours. Now at your estimate salary and expense, this would work out to paying them each $1,000 a year to cover inventory.
I never thought of it that way, but I guess that is true.
Everything that you have told me so far is similar to other small pharmacies I have worked with in the tri-state area. They all use Russian service to help them lower their costs and still stay competitive. Does it still sound like something you will be interested in?
Definitely, if you have really done all of this, I would love to hear more.
Great. I would like to make sure we are still on the same page. You said before that in order to make a decision on service like ours, you would be sure you have your profit be usable by yourself and your pharmacist. Bills while still being cost efficient. Are those still your main criteria?
Yes.
I would like to start by giving you this. I prepare a few of our company material for you to look at your leisure that I believe you will find helpful in making this decision. As we go through these different benefits of Russian, I will highlight some of the information in the packet for you. I would also like to point out that I included my business card. If after our meeting you still have any question or concern, I would be happy to take your call.
Thank you.
Russia is an industry leader when it comes to helping independent pharmacy like yours. As you can see on the first page, I have certificates from pharmacy all over the country praising our service. In particular, I highlight the companies that I personally have helped and included their contact information. If you look at the third certificate, you will see what I was just telling you about. David Miller, head pharmacist and owner of Center Drug in Verona Road.
I see.
We talked earlier about how it was important for you and your pharmacist to no longer spend all their time dealing with the hassles behind the scenes, so White Oak can return to friendly neighborhood pharmacy. That is still sound like what you are looking for.
Yes, actually, but only thing is you are talking about is a service that will no longer require me to manually update. It sounds nice. I mean, I wouldn't mind never having input price and inventory level manually even again. But like I said, I really want to streamline this so that I'm only get what I'm absolutely need. I just don't know if it makes sense right now.
We have already agreed that you would benefit from the extra time. You would have no longer needing to do everything manually. You could use that time to perform other more important tasks and be able to reconnect with your customers. This was something that you felt would be important to have, correct?
Yes, I agree.
I can tell you still seem persistent. What is that is really bothering you?
Well, even if I could save time, I just not seeing to it translate into more money. I would be glad to have my pharmacy interesting with customer again, but I can't afford such a large expense if or it's going to give me such only a time.
Are you concerned about the actual cost of the service, or is your concern about how saving time is going to save you real money?
A little of both.
Okay, those are both very common concerns. I know the best price leave you with the feeling of sticker shock, but when you start to think of it as an investment, you will be able to see how it will repay for itself. We update our system regularly so that you will never go a day without having the best price. You are virtually never over or undercharge a customer again, which we already agree was cost you at least $6,000 a year. If you look at the case study of healthy living in Leviton in your photo, you see that there are small pharmacies that have similar updating strategy to yours. From using AutoRx, they have seen an average gross margin profit increase of 3%. You indicate on the phone that you earn about $1 million in gross profit a year. A 3% increase would mean an extra $30,000 in profit a year. Is that kind of cost saving you are looking for?
Yeah, 30,000 more a year would be amazing. But how does that measure up to its cost?
I'm glad you asked that. If you look on the right side of the folder, you will see an value analysis which I prepared for YO. The two systems I have identified as being the ones that will serve your needs are AutoRx and Supply Management, which will run you $120,000.
Um, that is seem much more than I had expected. I don't think I can afford that.
If we go back to the $30,000 you will be saving in a year, within 4 years, which is about the same amount of time you spend as an undergrad, you will have already earned back your investment. Does that sound fair?
It certainly sounds tempting.
Now to summarize what we have been talking about, you said you would like that you will have more time to interact with customer, less time annually inputting price, that our update price will be save you enough money in just 4 years to cover the investment, and that you will only be investing in those services which will actually be of use to all. Is that correct?
Yes.
Okay then, I can have a contact for you to sign by noon tomorrow.
I would like that.
Great. If after you have seen Racket in action and you and your pharmacist feel comfortable our program, what would you say the probability out of 100%?
I think I'm around 95% I will sign.
Well then, before we meet, I'll fax you the contract to take a look at so that way after you see it in action, all you have to do is sign on the dotted line. That sound like a plan?
It sounds reasonable.
Good, then I know you have a full day ahead of you, so when would be convenient to meet with you next and take you over to Center Drugs?
Could it be this time of next week?
Okay then, I'll call them up immediately to see it up and you will have the contract by noon tomorrow.
Sounds great. Then see you then.
Bye, have a great day.
Yes, you too. Thank you.